What do you do when no one will listen? A government that refuses to listen to its people is no longer a democracy. It is an oligarchy in disguise. Right now, the Prime Minister is ignoring my concerns. The government refuses to engage with the real issues that affect Australians. Social media platforms are suppressing independent voices. The electoral system is rigged against anyone who isn't already in power. So, what happens when the people are silenced? What happens when our policies are ignored? What happens when we try to lead, but the system refuses to let us in? The answer is clear. We do not stop. The reality of a disconnected government. They are insulated from the people. Politicians live in a world of lobbyists, donors, and corporate influence. They do not feel the pain of everyday Australians. They do not fear consequences. The major parties rotate power between themselves. They know that no matter what they do, they will still be re-elected because voters have no real alternatives. They ignore solutions that don't benefit them. We have created policies that could benefit all Australians. We have a roadmap for a better future, and yet they won't even acknowledge it because it doesn't serve their personal interests. The system is designed to exclude outsiders. The people who should be governing aren't allowed into the system. Instead, career politicians protect themselves while independent voices are shut out. This is not just an inconvenience, this is systemic failure. What are the people left to do? If the system refuses to listen, then the people must make themselves impossible to ignore. 1. Expose the silence. When they ignore us, we make it public. Every time we reach out and are dismissed, we turn it into evidence of their failure. We show Australians what is really happening, that their government refuses to engage with real change. Every refusal to acknowledge us becomes a weapon against them. 2. Mobilize beyond their control. We do not need their permission to lead. If the government will not allow new voices in, we build the movement ourselves. We engage with people directly. We hold our own town halls, our own debates, our own political education programs. We create an independent force that bypasses the traditional system because the system is broken. If they will not let us into the halls of power, we will create new halls of power. 3. Demand systemic overhaul. The electoral system must change. If the same people stay in power because of a rigged system, then the system itself is illegitimate. The political gatekeeping must end. If politicians can't face direct public questioning, then they are unfit to serve. Big tech cannot be allowed to interfere with elections. If platforms are suppressing independent voices, they are actively participating in election manipulation. We must demand laws that prevent the suppression of independent candidates. We must force transparency in government communication and political media coverage. If the current system cannot handle that, then the system itself must be replaced. Is revolution necessary? Revolution does not have to mean violence. It means transformation. If the government refuses to listen, if the electoral system refuses to allow new leadership, if corporations control public discourse, then what choice do we have? We must build a movement that is too big to ignore. We must create a new path where leadership is earned, not inherited. We must fight for a democracy that actually listens to the people. If that is called revolution, then so be it. What happens next? We do not stop until we are heard. We do not stop until the system changes. The government's refusal to listen is not the end of this fight. It is the beginning. Join the movement at wendellsdiary.com and take the next step toward a real democracy.